18e mois de voyage. On poursuit notre enquête dans le désert du Taos, au Nouveau-Mexique dans le sud des États-Unis. On arrive dans un paysage aride, digne d'un décor de western. Ça nous semble fou de vouloir vivre ici. Pourtant, c'est précisément là que le modèle des Earthships a été inventé dans les années 70. Des maisons écologiques qui visent une autonomie radicale. Et depuis, plusieurs centaines de vaisseaux de la Terre ont fleuri à Taos.
Comment construire une maison confortable en plein désert ? Et comment s'approvisionner en eau, en énergie, en nourriture ? On décide de passer plusieurs semaines à Earthship Biotecture pour comprendre la vision de Michael Reynolds et la motivation de ceux qui l'ont rejoint.
I think I was alerted, let's say, by the media. The media talking about beer cans being thrown all over the streets and parks and things. They were making stories about that on the news. They were talking about clear-cutting timber in the northwest United States and that would be an environmental problem with drainage and oxygen. And so it just caused me to look at those things, and the first thing I looked at was, okay, these cans we throw away, we don't know what to do with them. And we build houses out of trees, but we don't want to throw away trees. We want trees. So I looked at the cans, and they seemed reasonable for making a building block. That's how it started.
We're like repurposing garbage to like a higher level, really, of meaning even a better use than its intended use. Like the tire, it has a very short lifespan in its intended use of 3 or 4 years on a vehicle. A building block that's going to be in this wall for hundreds of years at least. That's not recycling. That is repurposing for something better. The 6 points is heating and cooling using thermal mass, collecting water, like water harvesting, creating one's own power, like electricity, contain sewage, dealing with your waste in a way that it's not going into the groundwater. Food production out of that contained sewage, and then building with recycled, repurposed, and natural materials.
The building is a vessel. It's like a spaceship. It's a vessel that takes care of its inhabitants. It's decentralization. And decentralization is the only way to weaken these giant power structures that are the buffalo herd running toward the cliff. If we don't use nuclear-made electricity, they won't try to sell. They won't have anything to sell. You know, they're making it because we're buying it. So I'm going to quit using nuclear power. I'm going to quit using coal-fired power. I'm going to quit using water that is full of chlorine and fluoride. I'm going to quit using gas that comes from fracking. I'm going to quit eating food that is full of chemicals that Monsanto is controlling. I can do all of that for myself. I can transcend all of that by making a building like this. And yeah, it's a little harder, sometimes a little more expensive. But I can do that for myself. But then I see, doesn't mean anything if it's just for me. It only means something if all the 7 billion people on the planet can have it.
So here, I think we're just trying to throw out an option, as to how, you can live just like very comfortably, like your normal consumptive U.S. lifestyle, more or less, in this house. I don't know that we're like visionaries on that we want to change society and we're not going to cram it down anybody's throat. But we are offering a different option. And it's not perfect, and we're still evolving it every single day. But we're not living in that dinosaur house from the 40s that isn't appropriate for the planet. These people are architects, or they are in construction, or they are designers, but they're not happy with the existing state of housing and beyond that, society, how things are used. And they're coming here looking for a different option. A lot of the young people, especially the ones from the US, they're out of the university and there are no jobs in the field that they've studied, and there's no jobs that are inspirational to them at all. And I think they're like, well, maybe I can get in a position where I don't need to make money. And then they see this, and this sustainable housing, freedom and sustainability, they're kind of like intertwined. This is a good spot to get rid of like long cans, like 16-ounce cans or 24-ounce cans or stuff like that. Check out there and see if they got anything. Then check with them out there. Otherwise, it's at our recycling zone there.
Sometimes it depends, like what kind of state the house is in. Like sometimes nice, pretty.
But this cistern here is like this, and it's got an overflow pipe up here. And the overflow pipe goes, and you can see it goes down under the floor. I'm optimistic because I'm living one day at a time. Today, I'm sitting in a jungle, in a desert in New Mexico. People are here trying to learn what we've learned. I'm optimistic because I am seeing some of that change. The buffalo itself can't turn because there's 14 buffaloes on either side of it. It can't move, and it can't stop. That's what we're in. That's why you can't blame anybody. How could you blame a buffalo for running off a cliff when buffaloes all around him were forcing him? If he stopped, he'd die. He'd get trampled. So there is only one way, is to rise above it. And it takes messing with your mind and your belief system and everything. But it is the only way, and it is working.
Aujourd'hui, le modèle des Earthships convainc de plus en plus de gens en quête d'autonomie et s'exporte largement aux États-Unis, mais aussi un peu partout sur la planète.
Avant de quitter Taos, on repense aux mots de Margaret Thatcher qui disait « There is no alternative ». Pourtant, l'exemple des Earthships démontre que d'autres modes de vie sont possibles.